My name is Erin West, and I am back once again to talk about RWBY. And this time, I'm going to talk about RWBY ships. Comment. I hate it when people do that. But we are going to talk about the problem with Bumblebee. Or should I say the problems with Bumblebee. Something that a lot of people say that is the reason they ship Bumblebee, which is, I hear a whole lot of, it's cute. They look cute together. I'm gonna put this as simple as I can without sounding like a jerk. Just because two people look cute together doesn't necessarily translate into a good relationship. So if you ship something because they look cute together, that's not really good for canon, and I wouldn't even say that that necessarily makes good fan fiction or role plays, because just because they look cute together, again, it doesn't make it a great relationship. Being cute together, looking cute together, which no doubt in my mind, Blake and Yang do look cute together. That is not even in question here. But that doesn't mean that they can have a healthy relationship. That does not mean that they should be together. The only thing in terms of shipping that they look cute together is even good for and making a good ship is fan art. That's it. It makes great fan art because it looks cute together. It does not necessarily translate into being good for the other things. Now, on to another point. Why Blake and Yang would not be a good ship. Well, how about the fact that most of these Bumblebee moments aren't even all that romantic? I mean, it's good for building a relationship, good for building a friendship, but it doesn't mean that Blake and Yang should be together, or in any way that Bumblebee is canon, which a lot of people, from what I've seen, will take certain things and try to claim that it is canon or that it is going to happen. No. And if I go over these specific moments, we will probably be here all day. But let me point out why Blake and Yang can't be together in canon. We're going to talk about in canon now. Well, for one, Blake seems to be a lot more quiet than Yang, and while she has opened up to Yang, Blake will keep a lot of things to herself and has a tendency to hide. I mean, a lot of people will say that Yang and Blake are like Ty and Raven and will be what Ty and Raven should be, but that ain't even true. For one, Blake doesn't seem to be all that much like Raven, despite many people claiming it. She seems more like Crow, in the sense that thinking things are her fault and that she hasn't bought Brad luck, but everything the Right Fang is doing to the people she cares about is all her fault because she was there in the first place. And that can cause problems when it comes to relationships with anyone, including her relationship with Yang. And Yang, despite in RWBY Chibi, the actual canon, she seems to be a lot more like Raven at the moment than Ty. Blake is a little too reserved for Yang, in my opinion. She seems to be a little more reserved, and that will only seem to anger Yang. It would make Yang more frustrated. But that's not even the biggest issue. Let's get to probably one of the biggest things. The end of Volume 3. That's right. Blake leaving after Yang got her arm cut off. Now, yes, Yang could forgive this. Yes, Yang could probably move past this. But here's the thing. She won't forget it. It is wired into her memory. Yang will never forget that. So why would she start a relationship, a romantic relationship, with someone like that? Especially considering her abandonment issues. Why would she start a romantic relationship with someone that did that? Yang will always remember this. Therefore, she will always doubt in the back of her mind whether or not she can truly rely on Blake. Whether or not she can truly count on the fact that Blake will not leave her again. This in turn will make Blake more concerned, and she will probably know that Yang is having doubts. And I don't think Blake would want to be in a relationship where she's always trying to make up for something, because she will always be trying to make up for that and to prove to Yang that she isn't going nowhere. But Yang will never be able to forget that moment. That is not going away. Despite her forgiveness and everything, that will not go away. That will be a permanent issue. And that really, really, really messes things up for a potential Bumblebee relationship. That's why I see if Bumblebee happens, it will fail. Realistically, I don't think Yang can completely move past that moment. I don't think she can let that moment go. She can't just forgive and forget. She can't act as if it never happened. She can't ever rely on Blake the way she used to. That is why I don't think Bumblebee will happen, and I don't think, even if it was to happen, it would be successful. That is why, in canon, I seriously have doubts about Bumblebee. Seriously. Like, I don't think Bumblebee would be a healthy relationship after that. But that's not even all. Yang and Blake's personalities contrast. Yang is a thrill seeker. Blake would much rather not seek out the thrills, but be more quiet and reserved. Yang likes to go out doing all these fun activities. Blake would just want to sit and read a book. Not much to really connect them other than the fact that they are friends and that they're teammates. And while yes, they can get along, but there isn't much shared interest there or even really shared activities other than the fact that they're both trying to be huntresses. And even that now comes into question with Yang practically stating that the only reason she's still involved is because of RWBY. Makes you wonder if Yang even still wants to be a huntress. Which means even that might not be something that they have in common. When you really start to think and look at how Bumblebee would play out, there is serious flaws. It might be an anime. It might be a show. But if the relationship just doesn't seem to work, it just doesn't seem to work. That is why I really don't even want to see Bumblebee attempted in canon, because I'm pretty sure that if the writers were to do it, it would feel forced. And a forced relationship isn't a good relationship. And that brings me back to things with Bumblebee and the fandom. Fans insisting that Bumblebee has to happen. That's a no-no. No, you don't do that. One, that's going to put pressure on the writers, and if the writers do it at this point, it very well may turn out to just simply be fan service. And if they were never planning on doing Bumblebee in the first place, and they simply do it because of fan service, it becomes a forced relationship, and then that might not turn out so well. And then when people are unhappy about it, the only people they can blame is themselves for putting pressure on the writers to do something in the first place. It doesn't matter what ship you ship. Let's not be so adamant about it to Rooster Teeth and the writers of the show that we pressure the writers to do something, because then the end result will probably not be what you think it's going to be. And then that brings me to another reason why people ship Bumblebee, and I've heard this several times, and it just bugs me so much. What better way in story and for canon to help Blake accomplish her goals of settling the issues between faunus and humans than for her to have, being a faunus, to have a relationship with a human? Hence, Yang. No. Just no. This whole oppressed faunus thing, that was all from the point of view of the right thing. And even then, that undermines their own goals, because we find out that 1/4 of the most powerful men in the world, which is the headmasters of all the academies, was a faunus. For all we know, Vacchio's headmaster may be a faunus too, and then that makes 50% of the most powerful people in all of Remnant faunus. That is not discrimination. That is not. While there may be issues in the world of Remnant with people disliking the faunus, here's the thing. One, Blake having a relationship with a human probably doesn't even resolve that. And two, again, doesn't transfer into a good relationship, doesn't make a Yang-Blake relationship healthy, happy, and, well, something that should really happen. That's just an excuse to ship them. That doesn't even necessarily transfer into a good story. At least not romantically. Maybe if you want to try to use it as a thing to settle issues between humans and faunus, which is what they're saying, but even then, I don't see how that would do that. It's just dumb. I mean, seriously, that is flawed logic. If you're going to think like that, then can we use that as an excuse to ship any faunus character with a human? Seriously. Does that mean Sun's got to date a human and that Ilya has to date a human? You're basically saying that faunus shouldn't be with faunus. And that is just dumb. That's got to be one of the most dumbest things I have heard. And I have heard it repeatedly. At the end of the day,
My thoughts on Bumblebee from the story given in canon and what we've seen, it just doesn't work. There is too many issues, and I could probably go on with even more issues, but if I did, we would probably be here all day. But there's problems with this ship that a lot of people seem to overlook. Now, don't get me wrong, I don't hate Bumblebee. At the end of the day, I see it as a good fanship. Keyword, fanship. It makes, as I said, great fan art. You can write AU fan fictions about it. And the reason I say AUs is because if you use some of the same events in canon, then you run into some of the same issues that I pointed out that's wrong with it in canon. But a complete rewrite. Yes, you can write a story about Blake and Yang together and make it work. Just the in-canon RWBY story does not seem to be going that way. I'm not trying to tick nobody off. I'm not trying to say that Bumblebee is a bad ship or that people shouldn't ship it. What I am saying is that yes, it can be good in the fandom. Yes, it is interesting. Yes, it can make great stories. But the in-canon story, there are just a lot of flaws with that ship. Yang and Blake are good friends. But at the end of the day, I just don't see the romance. I don't see why Yang would want a relationship with Blake. I don't see why Blake would necessarily want a relationship with Yang. The interest is not there. It just isn't. And that is why I can only conclude that the chances of Bumblebee happening don't seem to be very high, in my opinion. And that is why Bumblebee, despite its popularity, is not very high on my list. Do I understand why it's popular? Yes. Do I understand why people like it? Yes. Is there anything wrong with that? No. But again, all of that does not transfer to Yang and Blake necessarily having a good relationship romantically. And that is the problem with Bumblebee. And that is why I have made this video, to point out some of the issues. If you enjoyed this video, subscribe and like. If you want to see more videos, definitely subscribe. Please let me know what you think of my points in the comments section, but I beg of you people, I do not want to receive no hate for this. I'm not hating on Bumblebee, so do not hate on me. Even if you are a Bumblebee shipper, please do not send me a bunch of hate comments. But let me hear your thoughts down in the comments section. And I will see you next time.